what in the name of Rush Limbaugh conspiracy theory is Chantel's mother talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like crazy. This is on the level of that dude who said Sandy Hook was a hoax. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my review / recap of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 3, Episode 3. This episode is called There Is Something They Don't Know. Okay, you guys, we had a really good episode this week. Let's jump right in. So I'm gonna start out with Paul and Russ, because honestly, their storyline is the most boring, which is what a lot of you guys were saying, and I don't know much about them, so I did want to get to know them, but it is the most boring. You're absolutely right. Okay, so they're in Bucaramanga. Where we left off last time is that Russ and Pao are in Bucaramanga visiting Abuela, and Abuela said some words to Russ and Paula. It was really heartfelt. I had a little bit of tears. You know, actually, I think I cried twice throughout this entire episode just from today. So, anywho, they had a really great moment, and now they're going to Bogota to be with Pao's family. And Pao knows that her and Russ are going to have a hard time with the family because she knows that her family, because she hasn't really been communicating with them, is going to blame Russ for it. You know, their automatic assumption is going to be that their baby girl, their baby sister, their baby daughter moved to the United States, you know, met this American man, and he has locked her up somewhere and is refusing to allow her to call home, refusing allowing her to come home. So they get to the mom's house. She knocks on the door. Moms open the door. They give a big hug to each other. I mean, there's lots of hugging and kissing. You can tell this is a really close family. She has a sister that's there, and she has two brothers that's there, and like some nieces and nephews that are there. And I believe her father or her grandfather, I'm not sure which, but they're all there, you know? So when she starts to explain like why she hasn't really contacted them, and I guess I still didn't understand the depth of like what they meant by her not contacting. I'm just like, was she not calling them once a week at least, or once a day or something? Was she, I know she couldn't go back because of money problems, and that's something that she mentioned to them, and they were like, that's no excuse for you not talking to us. I mean, I guess 3 years is a long time for like your sibling to move to another country, and then for them to not really communicate with you, even though you're reaching out to them, trying to talk to them, and they're just not talking to you, and you can feel spurned. You can feel like, okay, they moved on to bigger and better things. They don't care about us. So I get where her family's coming from, but the fact that they just automatically blamed Russ for it and were very like, I thought it was him. He's the one that's keeping you from talking to us. And he's sitting there, and I think he's getting snippets of the conversation because he doesn't understand Spanish completely, but he did live in Bogota for a while, so he probably is picking up on a little bit of what's happening. And so Pao says that the main reason in the beginning that she didn't contact with her parents is because she knew her grandmother was sick, and she was unhappy in Oklahoma, like severely like depressed, and she didn't want to put her problems onto her family. She didn't want her mother to have to worry about her when her mother was already worrying about her very own mother. And so she probably felt like she didn't want to have the conversation with them about it. Now, ignoring them was really bad, you know, but I can understand her not wanting to have that conversation. And then it turns out that she got pregnant, and they actually kind of guessed that that's what happened. Like, something happened that she got pregnant, and they were like, well, when's the baby due? And she's like, look, I got pregnant and I lost the baby 2 days after I found out I got pregnant. She talks about in her confessionals how excited she was to find out she was pregnant and didn't have that 2 days later taken from her. But it turns out she has like something rare in her blood that's going to make it very hard for her to keep a child to full term. I think maybe that kind of thing shocked her so much that she just went full speed ahead into her modeling career, and she probably will worry about something like that a little bit later. But she talked to her family, and this is just me speculating, by the way, I don't know Pao at all. So she talked to her family about that, and she's explaining it to them. And her sisters and her mother, and even her grandfather / maybe her dad, they're very understanding. She has that cathartic conversation with her family. It ends in hugs, but her older brother still wants to have like a one-on-one, like, bruh, nah, I don't buy any of that. So they go downstairs, they walk around, and Russ is with her too, which is a little weird because part of me just wanted her to have a conversation with her brother, but I guess Russ being there because he is part of the reason why she didn't call, you know what I'm saying? So he was there to explain himself as well. And so they went down to have this, you know, pay respects and have this private conversation with the brother. So they're outside, they're sitting on a like park bench, and they're talking, and the brother's like, I still don't get it, there's no excuse. And she's like, honestly, bro, like, I just didn't want anyone to know how sad I was. I didn't want to put that burden on you guys. I didn't want you guys to know everything that's going on. And then I feel so much better in Miami. Like, I feel like I can do whatever, and I have more money, and I can come visit you guys. And she just wanted to present a happy, solid Paula. She didn't want to present somebody that wasn't doing well and wasn't happy. So Russ said in his confessionals, which I find to be very accurate, they act like they don't know their sister. Do they really think that Russ was going to stop her from doing what she wanted to do? Because they know Paula's personality. They know no one's gonna stop her from doing whatever she wants to do. So the brother, they all hug it out, they do the handshake dabs, and then like that's good. And so that's the end of Paul and Russ, really though. Okay, so let's move on to our next couple. Okay. So our next couple are Chantel and Pedro. I mean, their storyline just continues to get more and more crazy. So I went into this feeling a certain way about Chantel's family and feeling a certain way about Pedro and his family, and I came out feeling a completely different way, and let me tell you why. Okay, so we first start off with the next day. This is after they're already at the cabin. Pedro has already told the family that he doesn't want to participate in anything. He's going to stay at the bottom level and he's not going to bother with them. So Chantel is upstairs with her family, and they're making breakfast and they're, you know, having a good time as a family, and they go to sit down, and for whatever reason Chantel's parents are like, where's Pedro? We're not gonna eat until he comes up. It's like, guys, stop beating a dead horse with a stick. He doesn't want to socialize with you guys, leave him alone. So Chantel's like, he's not coming up, he's still sleeping, he's tired, he doesn't want to do anything, and they're just like, well, you know, he needs to be more communicative and he needs to do better. And she's like, what do you want from him? Like, you guys are the ones, every time he comes around, you guys bring up the past and what happened in the Dominican Republic. And then River chimes in with like, technically we just asked him what was wrong and he brought up the Dominican Republic. And Chantel's response is whatever, and my response is whatever too. Semantics, bro. Like, you know why he's upset, but maybe they really don't, and that's cause to concern. Thomas, Chantel's father, felt like the beginning of the trip was a little rocky, but the end of it was fine. And Pedro was like, no, the end of it was not fine. You ruined my wedding. You ruined my time in the Dominican Republic by being disrespectful. So anyways, they start to talk, and Chantel is like trying to eat, River's trying to eat, Winter's trying to figure out when they can eat, like everyone's trying to figure out when they eat, and the parents are sitting there like, we just want to wait for Pedro to come up. And then finally the mom says something that I'm just like, what? She says that she believes that Lydia and Nicole, which are Pedro's mother and sister, are using Chantel by way of Pedro to harvest the American dollar. She goes further on to explain that she doesn't want to believe that they're body trafficking. She doesn't want to believe that they're harvesting the American dollar. And I don't know what she's talking about, because it sounds like body trafficking and harvesting the American dollar are two different things, but what does that mean? Like, does she actually think the American dollar, like, it's literally paper. So I don't know how you can harvest the paper of another country's currency. Like, what do they do with the money? Like, money only has value because we believe it does. Like, it doesn't actually have any value. Like, it's just like paper. But like she said, body traffickers, like, what does that even mean? Like, human trafficking? Because that's what that sounds like to me. So it's like using products for, like, I literally don't know what she's talking about, and it sounds like some crazy Rush Limbaugh, like, Republican alt-right conspiracy theory of what other countries are doing with American money, American products. Like it sounds like crazy conspiracy theory, like nutbag crazy. I just can't say it anymore. It sounds ridiculous. Chantel is a little annoyed. She's very annoyed, in fact. She's like, what are you talking about? He's not using me. Like, we love each other. And they're just like, well, that remains to be seen. Pedro needs to give us a little bit more information. And I want to know what that little bit of information is. Like, what do they want him to say? Like, what is the conversation that needs to be had that they feel has not been had? So anyways, later on they go wine tasting, and Pedro does not want to go wine tasting, girl. They get there, they're having drinks, they're tasting the different kinds of wines. For whatever reason, Chantel and her mother, instead of continuing wine tasting, they get like peach bellinis, which is like a daiquiri, I guess, but with strawberry. I don't know. They get like free drinks or whatever. And Chantel's like, you know how she like speaks in like a weird monotone, like she's uncomfortable. This is so fruity. It's delicious. Yes. And so she reaches across, and Pedro grabs her hand, and they have like a little intimate moment of like him being like, boo, I don't want to be here and I'm here for you, and her being like, thank you so much for being here. The mother says, oh, you guys really are such a cute couple. Pedro can't handle it anymore, because he's like, when I first got here, like when I first met you guys, you were so negative, you treated me poorly, you thought I was here for all the wrong reasons, you thought I wanted to use her for the green card, you thought I was using her for the citizenship, you thought I was using, and all of a sudden now you're saying that we're such a cute couple. What's going on? And she's like, honestly, the mom, you just haven't been upfront with us. There's a lot of questions we have, and we haven't. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you. Another thing that happened at breakfast is that the family said they were gonna hire a private investigator to look into the family to see what's really going on. It's so weird. So anyways, let me get back to the bar. So they're at the wine tasting bar. She says, you know, you're just not being upfront. You're not telling us what's going on. And he's like, I don't understand why I had to tell you what's going on in my life. I need more drinks. So he goes to get more drinks. And they're like, well, we think that your mother is manipulating you and getting you to use Chantel for things, getting you to use this country for things. They're really concerned about the United States of America and him using this country to get further in life for his family. I don't understand, like, do they really think that they're like patriots for this behavior? That maybe they do. Maybe that's what's happening. Pedro's getting more and more agitated, more upset. He's drinking. He gets a little too drunk and he's like, look, I'm thinking that I'm going to go back to the Dominican Republic. And Chantel's like, what? And the dad's like, wait, you guys are moving back to the Dominican Republic? And he's like, no, not Chantel, maybe just me. And everyone's like, what? Including Chantel, who's like, what? You have plans on moving back? Now, River now thinks that he is justified because he called it. They take the tapes back to the part where they're in the campo, where they're sitting in the van. They refuse to get out. And River says, this seems fishy. Why is it that the apartment that Lydia and Nicole live in is a 3-bedroom? It's a 3-bedroom because Pedro's planning on moving back. I'm like, well, damn. River might have a point. Not that I think he's planning on moving back, or not that I think that's an indication of anything sinister. Part of me is like, that gives an argument. You get what I'm saying? Like, it could very well be that they have a 3rd room because whatever, why not get a 3rd room? Maybe the 3rd room is for any guests that come to visit. Maybe when Chantal and Pedro come to visit, they would stay there and that would be their room. Like, there's a number of reasons why you would have a guest room. We have a guest room in our house. It happens. For instance, if I were to move into my own apartment right now, I would get a 2-bedroom because I would want to film in that 2nd bedroom, and I would also want to have a room so that if my friends came to stay with me from parts of the country or parts of the world, they would have a bedroom to stay in. So it's not that weird for me. But considering that they're already feeling some type of way, it does leave room for that argument. So they're talking and Chantel's like goes into Spanish and is like, wait a minute, you're gonna live there without me? And then even the mom tries to go into Spanish. Every time she speaks Spanish though, part of me is like, oh, she's trying, and part of me is like, stop, please stop. You're just being rude and it feels weird. So Pedro's like, I don't have to tell you, it's my business. And I'm like, Pedro, why do you even say anything? But it's because he's drunk and he's pissed off. So he's just gonna say whatever to hurt them and let them know, like, look, I have a secret. You don't need to know about it, like, whatever. That was the wrong thing to do, bruh. Wrong thing to do. So the next day they get up and Chantel really still wants to have this conversation. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you trying to move back to the Dominican Republic? And he's like, baby, I don't want to talk about it now. And she's like, no, you cannot not talk about it now. We have to talk about it now. I need to know what's going on. My family is speculating. I need to know what's going on. I need to have an answer for them. And he says, baby, you know, it's like you want to start a business there. You could take the money and start a business there. And she's like, why can't you start a business here? And he's like, because it's cheaper for me to take the money or whatever to the Dominican Republic and start a business there, a family business for my family that they would run, and I would come in and check in on it, like, you know, once every 3 months, or, you know, stay for a week, 2 weeks here and there, you know, going back and forth. And that to me makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to Chantel. I get what he's saying. I thought it was the wrong way to say it and was very suspicious. Now, if it turns out that I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt and I'm wrong, I will go ahead and eat my words. But right now, I believe Pedro. I thought I heard the mom say that she thought that Lydia was running some kind of program where she helped Dominican men find American wives and then bring product from the United States or something. I'm not sure what racket or what industry she thinks Lydia is a part of, but that all remains to be seen. That all remains to be seen. And if so, if that's what they were doing, then I would think that Lydia would tell Pedro to not be on a reality TV show that could bust open their whole entire operation. Somebody down below made mention of the relationship between Lydia and Nicole and Pedro, something called the black tax, about how a lot of black families around the diaspora feel like it's 1 or 2 of their children's responsibility to come to the United States and to take care of the family back in the countries. And that it's not fair, and that there are certain communities who still do that, whether they're foreign or not. And honestly, I understand that to that viewer who says that, because I feel like I'm living the black tax, but I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm the oldest and it is my responsibility to take care of my parents. Now, my parents have done a very good job taking care of themselves. They have their retirement, they take care of themselves. My dad is still really active. He's 69 years old. He's still like building decks and doing stuff. So like, I have parents, luckily, who didn't want to be burdensome to their children and wanted to make sure that they were okay so that they could live happy, fruitful lives, like up until the very end. And I'm really, really grateful that they thought about their future and they thought about us like that. And they don't expect it, but I want to do it for them. My brother wants to do it for them. Like, we want to make sure our parents are taken care of and happy, which is the whole reason why I'm back living with them, so that I can give to them in any way possible to make their lives comfortable. I understand the desire to, even if your parents are fine. Basically, the mother said that Pedro is giving his family the exact same amount in cost of living that it costs Pedro and Chantel to live in the US. So I'm like, if they're paying $1,000 a month in rent, is he giving his mother $1,000 a month in stuff or money? Like, I think that is excessive. So if that's what's happening, then I can understand where the parents are coming from. And then I can maybe understanding them wanting to get a private investigator. I do think it's a waste of money, but if they got money to waste, then that's on them. So yeah, that's where I leave off with Pedro and Chantel, you guys. Such a different place than when I started out. For real, for real. Okay, so now let's move on to our next couple. Azan and Nickle. So where we left off with Azan and Nickle is that Nickle got the email from the consulate in Casablanca saying that no, Azan will not be getting his K1 visa. So she's distraught. She tells her mom. Her mom's kind of happy. She ends up going to a lawyer to figure out what's going on. This lawyer seems a little not professional, and I mean, it just could be where they are in Florida, but she's, I don't know, something up with this lawyer. I'm like, did you even go to a lawyer who deals with this kind of law? The lawyer says that she's never seen a note like this. Usually the note is a template giving you blanket reasons why, but giving you reasons why that the person got denied. And so Nicole's frustrated because she's like, look, if he got denied, that's fine, but I want to know why so that we can fix it. But the whole point is, like, they don't want you to fix it. You know, you get one shot, you get denied and you're done. You can appeal it, but they must have found something that makes them not want to give him his visa. And I think that you kind of should respect that, you know? Also, Azan is from Morocco, and I don't know if Morocco is on the list of those countries that Trump put on the no-fly list or whatever. Like, I'm not sure because it is a Muslim country. So it is going to be harder, and his record would need to be squeaky clean. So the only thing that they said to her was that it had something to do with section 221G, which is very broad, as the lawyer tries to explain, and that it encompasses a lot of different reasons. And so nothing is specific, so they really can't work on anything specific. The other option, she says, is to get the K3 visa, which means that Nicole would have to go to Morocco, marry him there, and then apply for a relative visa or a spousal visa, and that way Azan could come back. She's very excited with this news. So she tells her mom. Robily is like, you're gonna leave May, right? And she's like, no, would you leave May? It's very clear that Nicole relies on everyone around her to help her take care of May. Like, we see footage of her with May a lot, but I don't think that's the way it is when they're not filming, because the entire family does not have any confidence that she will be able to take care of May in Morocco, and she will have the support to take care of May in Morocco. She explains to her mother that the family, Azan's family, really does love May, and they will help her take care of May, but they're definitely gonna judge her because Nicole's gonna try to leave that baby with other people as often as possible. She looks like that kind of person. Robilee's kind of upset about it, and she's just like, doesn't know what to do, and is like, you are gonna get married to him? Like, what are the rest of us gonna do? And she's like, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I want you to come to Morocco and be there and plan the wedding. And I'm just like, does she not realize that a Moroccan wedding is probably very different than a US wedding? Like, she's gonna need to really figure out how she's gonna bridge that gap, because like, if they're in Morocco, I mean, they're gonna wanna have a Moroccan wedding for Azan. And I don't know that Robilee is gonna have the resources and the know-how, or even like, Robilee and everybody, even Nicole, they don't seem very worldly. They don't seem like people who are very understanding, especially they're in a red state, and they probably think that Azan's whole family are like terrorists. They're probably very scared and like upset that he's Muslim. Like, they are those kinds of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So are they gonna really do research to see what a Moroccan Muslim wedding looks like and how they can bridge the gap with the American side? I feel like they would just go there, think they're superior, and try to take over everything. So I don't necessarily know why Nicole is so optimistic about this, but this seems like a bad idea to me. So later on, she tells her father the same thing. Her father is like, the whole reason we said we were going to sponsor Azan is so that you didn't move to Morocco. And even her stepmom is like, you're going to leave May, right? Her dad is not okay with it. And then she's like, oh, I was wondering if you could come too and walk me down the aisle. I can't imagine getting married without you. And the dad's like, I'm not... Did you think about this? Are you thinking about this? Like, no, she's not thinking about this. This is like a disaster. They raised an absolute fool, and it's almost to the point where like I don't want to talk about her anymore. It's kind of like how it was with last season. Like, I just don't want to talk about her anymore because I feel bad that this is happening. I feel bad about this train wreck. Also, I want to see the train wreck, you know?